Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to look at the detailed form filling guidelines for ISB PGP YL, the new program that ISB has started, for which they are going to be taking the CAT score. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you the entire process that you need to follow to complete your application. So let's get started. Now the first thing that you will have to do is you'll have to keep a couple of things ready. That includes your mark sheets, so your 12th, your graduation mark sheets, your work experience certificate, definitely that is something that will be needed. Alongside that, your identity proof, one photograph that you will have to upload, and you will also need to have the name of the person who is going to give you the letter of recommendation. So I'm going to cover that in this video, so please watch the video till the very end. So let's start now with the process. So the first thing that you will have to do is go to the ISB website. Now in the description of this video, you will find a link and you can go to that link and begin your application process. Now when you go to this particular link, the first thing that you will have to do is click on the first time users, because you're going to start creating your account. Once you have created your account and let's say you have filled a little bit of form and you want to complete it, then you can come here and do the existing user thing. So click on the website, create your account, and then you can always log in later for completing the rest of the application. So there are two programs, as you will see once you click on that, it will ask you for which program you want to apply. Now there is PGP and there is PGP YL. So they have clearly mentioned what are the application deadlines and who is eligible for the program. So let me talk about the PGP YL first of all. So PGP YL is the postgraduate program in management for young leaders, which is the one that they have recently started. For this, the round 1 deadline is 15 December. Now, who is this program for? So full-time MBA equivalent residential postgraduate management program designed for high potential aspirants with up to 2 years of experience. So they have given a date and you have to calculate your work experience as on that date. I'm going to cover that as we progress in this particular video. So you have to understand first of all whether you are eligible or not. So people who have between 0 to 2 years of experience, you are eligible for PGP YL. For people who have more than 2 years of experience, you are eligible for the PGP program, which is what is also mentioned on screen. So figure out which program you are eligible for. Of course, you can apply for the first program if you are eligible for that. If you are under 2 years of experience, 0 to 2 years of experience, you can apply for the PGP YL program. Alright, now let's begin the registration process. So this is how the registration form looks. I'll just quickly take you through that. There are some very basic fields that are available here. So you start with the personal email. Now one very important thing here is they don't accept any other domains apart from the regular domains that are there. So for example at Gmail, at Yahoo and so on, those are the domains that will be accepted. But if you're let's say applying with your work email address, that will not work. So you will need to enter your personal email address. So there are limited domains that they accept for registration. Then you enter your first name, middle name, last name. So very simple state information. Middle name is optional. Then you enter the country, the primary country of citizenship, where you are based at this point of time, the current country. Then current city, year of award of undergraduate degree or equivalent. Total work ex, designation, organization, industry, again pretty straightforward. And they have mentioned that wherever let's say you don't have a lot of information, you can always reach out to them. So let's say your industry is not mentioned, you can select other and fill it. Or if you want to reach out to them, you can raise a query later in the form. Then you enter all of that, you select the industry, country code, mobile number, and then which program are you interested in. So in terms of program, you will see all the programs that ISB offers here. What you need to select is the PGP YL program, okay, because that's what we are doing in this video. So PGP YL for people who are between 0 to 2 years of work experience, that is what you will select, and then click on that checkbox that is there. Now, once you do this, you're going to get a confirmation on your email, and then you can begin the rest of the application process. So once you confirm, you're going to get a confirmation from them in about 5 minutes, and then you can start the rest of the application. You'll have to set up a password because on the previous page we didn't do that. Once you get a confirmation mail from them, you set up a password and then you use that for the login. Now once you log in, this is the main dashboard that you're going to see. You have home, got queries, messages and payments. So if you have any query, right, just go to got queries section and you can reach out to them. So that's a nice thing that they have done, that there is a communication channel that they have established. You can simply reach out to them for any concern that you may have while filling the form. Now here again some basic information is given, you just have to go through it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I would encourage that all of you read this because this is important. Again, on screen a lot of it won't be, you won't be able to read everything, but once you start your process, just ensure that you go through all the details that are given so that you don't miss out on anything which is specific. Alright, now when it comes to the applications, so once you start, this is the first thing that you will see. It will show that number of active applications is 0, total applications 0, queries raised is 0. On new application, you have to select PGP YL the way I have done, and PGP YL class of 2025-27, right? It's a 2-year program that they have. So this is where you begin, and on the next screen, this is what you will see, right? So here it shows that the status is I've started my application. Admission round is R1 because this is going to be conducted in 2 rounds. For round 2, the deadline has not been mentioned. So round 1 deadline they have mentioned. Round 2, exactly when it will happen, we don't know. That data, that information has not been shared at this point of time. So the submission due date is 15 December. At the time of recording this video, I'm on 15 October. So it gives us 2 months that we have, and 2 months is a good enough period to fill this form. There's enough time that is available. But I would encourage people to start filling the form as early as possible because there is a lot of information that is required. So here it will show you that, okay, thank you for starting your application and all of that. This is your application number that you will have to record and keep it with you, and it will show the percentage of application. So currently it is showing me 0% because I haven't filled any information. But as you progress, that percentage will start going up, right? So there are a lot of things that you have to fill. You have to click on start/edit application. And once you click on that, on the right hand side, you're able to see a lot of things, right? So I'm just going to read it out for you. These are all the things that you'll have to fill. It's going to take a lot of time to fill this particular form. So you start with personal details. There is a read this first, which covers all the information that is required. Personal details, educational details, awards and recognition that you have got, professional experience if you have any, other courses, essays, recommendations, test scores, language proficiency, upload document section, there is declaration, the fine print, and the final submit. So there are a lot of things that need to be done. So starting with the first thing, which is the basic details, they're calling it read this first before you start your application. So this gives you the eligibility of the program, right? So I'm sure by now most of you have already seen it, but in case you haven't, this is the eligibility for the program, right? So first things first, it's a 20-month full-time residential program at ISB Hyderabad. In terms of eligibility, you need to have an undergraduate or bachelor's degree in any discipline, or CA or equivalent. And final year student of bachelor's degree can also apply, given that you are going to complete it by June 15, 2025. So that's the cutoff date that they have produced. Now up to 24 months of full-time work experience, that is going to be the, for that cutoff date is going to be June 15th again. So you should not have more than 2 years of experience as on 15 June 2025. So that is how you will have to do your calculations. A valid GMAT, GR or CAT score. So CAT 24 is what they have specified. CAT 23 scores will not be accepted. For GMAT, GRE, only test center based scores will be accepted. Online or at home test scores are not valid for GMAT or GRE. So first of all, you can submit multiple scores, right? So if you are somebody who has taken the GMAT as well, you have GMAT or GRE score as well, and you're going to be taking CAT 24, you will be able to submit multiple scores, okay? So that is possible in the form. But for GMAT GRE, as they have mentioned, they will not be taking the ones that you have taken online or at home, right? If at all the English was not the primary language of your instruction, then you may need to submit TOEFL or IELTS score, okay? So that is something that you'll have to keep in mind. Now regarding deadlines, as I said, for round 2, the deadlines have not been mentioned. For R1, that is 15 December, round 1 deadline, you have to complete your application prior to that. A lot of times people ask, should I apply in round 1 or should I wait for round 2? It is always better to apply in round 1. The earlier you apply, the better it is always. So make sure that you submit your application in round 1 itself. It's not that there is some disadvantage in applying for round 2, the way we have also seen in the past for the PGP applications. There's no disadvantage as such, but it is always better to apply in round 1, right? So you are also telling them that you have made a choice at the earliest. So now let's start with the actual application. So the first thing that it asks you whether you're a reapplicant. So if let's say you're somebody who had previously applied to a PGP program or the Young Leaders program that they had, the Young Leader program route for the PGP, the main program. If let's say you had applied for that, whatever, then you need to select that I'm a reapplicant, right? So the question is reapplicant. If you applied before to any programs in the ISB PGP YL, this will be auto-filled as yes. Okay, so if you're, let's say somebody you had applied maybe in the past for the PGP program, you're using the same login details, your email ID, etc., then by default it will show you yes. Clearly the email ID that I used to create my account didn't have that, so it is showing no. Then have you completed a bachelor's degree or equivalent degree for basic eligibility? If you have already graduated, select yes. If you haven't, select no. And it asks you for current year. Now here I just wanted to check what happens if you select pre-final year, because it showed final year and pre-final year. The moment I made that choice, pre-final year, it showed that you are not eligible for the program. So if you are a final year student, then you are eligible. So you can apply as a final year student, but if you are a pre-final year student, you will not be able to apply for PGP YL program. Then comes the next section, which is personal details. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because the information is extremely straightforward. So you just have to enter your name, your profile photo, the passport size photograph has to be uploaded. The contact details, permanent address, current address, extremely straightforward things, nothing complicated there. Then proof of identity. So either you'll have to submit your passport or your Aadhaar number, and then there is other information and supplemental information. So let me show you what the bottom two are. The other information includes what is the preferred interview location. So if you get shortlisted, where do you want to appear for the interview? And these are the cities that are available. So you have Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, Mumbai, and you can either go for a virtual online mode as well if you don't want to travel to any of these cities. Then you also have to give your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so this looked optional, so I think this was optional, but it's always better to give your LinkedIn profile and also ensure that it is updated. So those of you who are going to submit your LinkedIn profile, just make sure that it contains all the relevant information and it matches with what you're going to submit in your application in terms of the timelines that you mentioned. Then supplemental information is going to be on any form of disability. So they have mentioned that if you have any physical disability that requires special accommodation, then you can select whichever is applicable to you. Okay. So that is the other and supplemental information. Again, won't take you a lot of time to fill this. And once you're done, you move to the next part. So when it comes to the educational details, ISB is not asking you anything related to your 10th grade, right? So that's a refreshing change, I would say. So for a lot of people, especially those of you who are taking CAT and know the IM admission process, everywhere your 10 score matters, right? But here your 10 score doesn't matter. They haven't even asked you to enter it at any point of time in the entire form. So you have to start with your 12th, right? And then whatever is that you have done, right? So graduation, post-graduation, or any professional qualification that you have, you can enter all of that information. So again, I'm not going to walk you through all of this because I suggest that you read it while you're filling the form. But you'll have to enter whatever is there, your 12th, graduation, integrated program, or anything else. If you have more than one degree, then enter one in the UG section and other in the other courses section. So there is a section called other courses. You will be able to fill it there. Then for CA, CS, ICWA applicants, the program including the articleship internship must be completed by 15 June. So again, that 15 June deadline remains the same whether you're a professional qualification, pursuing professional qualification, or pursuing your graduation. And then there are some pointers that they have given. Again, you can go through it while you submit your form. Okay. So for medical students and for CAs, they have clearly defined it because they know that a lot of questions keep coming from these students. So they have mentioned for students who have done, let's say, an MBBS or a BDS or anything related to medicine, how they are supposed to enter the work experience and the mandatory internship that they have to do, right? So they have mentioned here that if you have done the 1 year mandatory internship, house surgeon duty can be regarded as full-time professional experience. You can enter that 1 year period in the employment section as full-time and as part-time in education. So the details are very clearly mentioned. So even for CAs, how you are supposed to treat your internship. So if you know, when you apply to some of the IMs and fill the CAT form, there the articleship internship is not counted at all. But here you will see that CA articleship internship of a minimum 3 years is mandatory requirement for obtaining the CA qualification and is to be entered in the professional experience section. CA articleship will not be considered towards work experience while determining eligibility. So because it is a mandatory requirement, they are not considering that while determining the eligibility. In education, you can enter that period as full time. So whatever period that you had for that internship, that gets counted as the total duration of the degree, right? So in professional experience, you can enter the same period as part-time, which means that you can enter your articleship internship that you have done, but you have to select it as a part-time thing. Okay, so be careful, go through the instructions clearly, and then fill the form, right? Then comes the next question, was English the medium of instruction? Again, if it is yes, you can select yes. If it is no, you will have to submit either a TOEFL or an IELTS score. So keep that in mind while filling the form. Then I'll take you through the individual 12th and graduation. Again, for others it remains exactly the same. So even if you have postgrad, the questions are more or less the same. So 12th, you select 12th mode of study, whether it was full-time, part-time, distance, online, from to date, then CGPA percentage, obtained and on a scale of, then class rank, if you have that information, you can enter it. So let's say first out of 150 students, if you have that information, you can enter it here. And then you'll have to upload the mark sheet, and that is why I said in the beginning that have your mark sheets ready. So uploading mark sheet 1 and then upload pass or provisional certificate. So this is also something that you can do. So for graduation, again the questions are pretty similar. There are a couple of additional questions that are there. So you select degree level, degree, mode of study, full-time, part-time, whatever, field of study, major, specialization, course duration, which year you are in, I've selected completed, from to, and then this is how it will appear. So whatever information you start entering, right, it will start appearing like this, that okay, finally there will be a table that you will be able to see after you have added all the information. Okay. Alright, let's move on to the next part, which is awards and recognition. So this is one place where you can talk a lot about the achievements that you have. So far we have discussed the academic side of things, how to enter your 12th and graduation. The next comes awards and recognition. Now anything that you have done which you believe is significant, it will improve your candidature, you can enter that information. So let me show you how they have asked these questions. Okay, so the first thing that they have done is there is a award section and then there is activities section. So in the award section, any awards that you have received, anything that bears a title, you can enter it here. So title of the award, year of award in which you got it, area of award, so it can be academic, fine art, patent, professional, social service, and so on. You select the one that is applicable, select the level of participation. So was it like a college event, was it at let's say university level, or was it at the state level, and all of that. So you can select whatever is the level of participation. And once you do this, you will have to, there is a open-ended box where you can write the basis of selection for the award. So here you don't have to write a lot, but you have to basically just write down what exactly the award was about, right? So if let's say you got a particular thing, why did you get it, or sort of what was the selection parameters, let's say how many students had participated. So for example, stood first out of so many people, right? So that could be like a basis. So that is something that you will have to write down. So it's a section where at least I wrote 5. So I was just testing out as to at what point will it tell me that okay, that's the maximum that you can write. But I was able to write 5. If you have more, you can always write more. But I would say that prioritize, right? So it's not going to be that okay, let me write the entire laundry list and write everything that I've done, maybe write 20 things. I will have to prioritize and figure out what is it that really makes a difference and highlights different aspects of my personality, right? The next is activity. So on the same page you have activity section wherein you write the name of the activity, what was your role, right? So whether you're a volunteer, let's say you're the event organizer and things like that. And then from date to date, the type of activity, whether it was like a college, university thing, was it a community related activity, then level of participation, and again there is an open-ended question that you get, right? So once you fill this, roughly this is how it will look. So all the activities, all the awards that you have got, that will be at the top, and then the activities. Now you can edit this. Okay, so at any point of time in the form, it's possible to edit it till the time you make the final payment, right? So you can save the progress, keep coming back to it, and keep editing it. Okay, so take your time, don't rush into it. A lot of times in a hurry, people just write down things and submit it, and later they think that okay, I should have written this, I should have written that. Instead, I would say take your time. The deadline is 2 months away. 15 December is what it is. So you have enough time to write this properly. Okay. Then comes professional experience. So in professional experience, the good thing is whatever part-time experience you have, that can also be entered, and that's a good thing about the entire application, I would say, where you can select okay, from date to date, company name, website, the division, business unit that you're a part of, the industry, right? So there's a list that they have given. You can go through this. If it is current employment, you select that checkbox. And then employment categories, right? Whether it is a CA articleship, type of employment, full-time, part-time, type of employment subtype, whether it is full-time employed, part-time employed, self-employed, freelancing, internship. So a lot of students who have questions, right, that I have done something while I was doing my graduation, will it get counted? Or I have done, let's say, freelancing, will that get counted? I can enter all of that in this particular form. So that's a very good thing, because otherwise at most of the places, the pre-graduation work experience is not counted, right? But here it will get counted, whatever it is, whether it is full-time or part-time, as long as you're falling in that between 0 to 2 years of definition. Okay, so fill this, whatever is relevant, you can enter that information and proceed to the next section. So on the same section, you also have to add your annual compensation. So you select that, the currency and the amount. And then about your role organization, so function and designation, these are two additional fields that you'll have to fill. And then the job location and the city. Again, nothing complicated here, extremely straightforward. Just fill it and you can move to the next section. Now let's move on to the next part, which is other courses or certifications. So if you have done anything else, right, it could be some courses or certifications that you have pursued, you can enter it here. Again, it's not going to be a laundry list. Keep that in mind, that I don't have to write everything that I've done, but I'll prioritize the most impactful activities and I would list them here, right? So here, for example, I've written just some Excel mode of study, whether it is full-time, part-time, etc. From to, if you have CGPA percentage applicable, you can write that. Otherwise, you can leave it blank. And who has granted that particular course or certification, where did you do it from, and board or organization, right? So again, nothing complicated here, but I would suggest that all of you figure out what you want to write and don't write all the things that you have done, because that's not going to look on your application. Then comes the most important part of this form, right, which is the essays. And this will definitely take a lot of time. It's going to take a considerable amount of time, I would say, because this is where you have to really think about why you're applying to the program. Okay, so if you look at, there are 3 essays, and for each of the essay there is a word limit. Okay, now again, that word limit means that you're not supposed to exceed that. So for the first essay, the word limit is 400 words. For the second, it is 400. And for the third question, it is 250 words. Okay, so let me just quickly take you through the first question. So describe a specific personal situation in which you assumed a leadership role without formal authority. How did you motivate and influence others during this experience? And what challenges did you encounter, and what insights did you gain about your leadership abilities as a result of this experience? Okay, so you have to talk about some particular experience that you have wherein you assumed a leadership role without a formal authority. Now for IMS students, we are going to do a dedicated session. So those of you who are IMS students will soon announce those details on the Telegram channel. We are going to conduct a session wherein we'll talk about these 3 essays, how to go about writing these essays. So we're going to do that very, very soon. We'll let you know when exactly we are going to plan that. What unique experiences, that's the second essay. What unique experiences and perspectives do you bring to your class? Now this is very similar to the question that they had in the PGP application as well. So at least there was one question, I saw that question and I was like, okay, this is a familiar question, looks good. So what is it that you bring to your class, and how do you intend to contribute to the diversity of thought and ideas within the program? And you have to provide specific examples to illustrate your points. So that's the second one. And the third one, if you look at the third one, what impact do you aim to create after completing the PGP YL? Please share your medium to long-term career plans, including any specific challenges you anticipate facing along the way, right? So what is it that you exactly want to achieve in life, right? So your short-term goals, your long-term goals, and how do you think doing that program is going to benefit you? You cover all of those things in this particular question. So these are the 3 essays. You can keep saving it. So whatever you write, you can save it as a draft. Make sure that you don't make grammatical errors. Generally now a lot of people are going to think that, okay, what if I use ChatGPT? One very simple thing, yesterday in fact I tried that. I took all of these questions, put it in ChatGPT, it gave me answers, right? But it gives you generic content that is not true to who you are. So definitely don't use ChatGPT blindly. You can use ChatGPT and Grammarly and things like that just to check whether your grammatical construct is correct or not, and if there are any improvements. But the initial writing has to come from you. then only it will reflect who you are as a candidate, right? So don't use ChatGPT or AI blindly to write these essays. That's not going to be a good idea. Then comes the recommendation section, and again this is where it differs a lot from the other applications that you will make, wherein somebody has to give you a recommendation before you have joined the program, right? So you have to have a recommendation. How it works, let me explain to you. It's not a complicated thing, but whoever is going to give you that recommendation, you have to reach out to that person as early as possible and tell him or her that you are applying to ISB. They will be getting a mail from ISB and they will have to complete that form. Okay, so I'm going to show you that those details so that you're in a better position to talk to whoever that person is. So firstly, they have given who should you choose, right? So it can be somebody that you have worked with. It was, let's say, your manager during your internship. You can also choose somebody from academia. That is fine. You can do that. They have mentioned that it's not necessary that the person has to be an ISB alum, because a lot of people ask them that question, that what if I get a recommendation from somebody who knows me, of course, but is an ISB alum, will that help? So they have clearly mentioned that that's not how it works. So you will have to put the name of somebody who has worked with you closely and who can vouch for you, right? So what will happen is, this is how the recommendation looks. You're going to need one recommendation, okay, not two, only one recommendation. And they have mentioned that the recommendation submission deadline is 9th December. So before 9th December, you have to complete this part, okay. Now here you will have to put the name of the person, the first name, last name, where the person is working, position title, country, city, country code, mobile number, email, all the basic details. This will mostly be the work email of the person. Then relationship with the applicant. So let's say if that person was your manager or senior manager or whatever it is. Then status of recommendation and message to recommender. So here you can create a personalized message that will be sent to whoever is the recommender. And then there is a button which says send email to the recommender. Now once you fill this information and click on that, what will happen is that person will get a mail like this, okay. So the person will have mails, dear this, we are writing to request your assistance in evaluating the candidature of, and this will be the name of the candidate, and for PGP YL at ISB, your insights are appreciated, etc. And then click here, there will be a passcode. Now they also can save it, so they don't have to finish it in one seating. So whoever is going to be the recommender, please tell them that they don't have to finish it in one seating, but they have to finish it before that deadline which is mentioned. So they have to click there, enter the passcode, and then they will see a section which looks like this. So there are a lot of questions there: achievement, influence, people, personal qualities, cognitive abilities, and so on. I will show you some of them and the open-ended questions, because the middle ones are similar to what you see in the beginning. So achievement looks like this. So these are questions on a scale, right? So if you see initiative, right? So no basis for judgment, reluctant to take on new tasks, willing to step in, proactively seeks, volunteers for new work challenges, takes charge spontaneously when problem need attention, right? So these are all the questions where they have to just select that, okay, this is what describes this person in the best possible manner. Similarly, under influence, you have questions on communication, professional impression, influence and collaboration, and all of that. So they will need some time. So give them that heads up that you'll get a form and you'll mostly need about an hour to maybe fill it. Then comes the open-ended questions, where you have optional comments. Is there anything about your rating on which you would like to comment? And there is a optional word limit there. So this question is optional. You have the word limit as 500. And then there are some questions, right, based on professional experience. How would you rate the applicant compared to his peer group? So again, there is a scale there. And overall, I do not recommend this applicant with reservation, enthusiastically recommend this applicant. Now obviously, whoever is going to give you a recommendation, they should not be selecting the first two, right? So I hope that you will choose a person who will not select 1 and 2 for you, because that's the worst that can happen. So make sure that you select the person that you really know and they can talk good things about you. And then comes the open-ended part of it, right? So recommendation questions. Please provide a brief description of your interaction with the applicant. How does the applicant's performance compare to that of other well-qualified individuals? Describe the most important piece of constructive feedback you have given to the applicant. Is there anything else we should know? And how long have you known the applicant? So they will have to take some time out to fill this form. Just make sure that you select the right person who will say good things about you, and give them that information that okay, all of this is going to be there in that form. Maybe you can send them this video and ask them to just watch this particular section, right? So have that conversation with them. I'm sure that it will definitely be useful. That brings us towards the sort of the end of this entire application. The test score part is again pretty straightforward. Whatever test that you have taken, whether it is GMAT, GRE or CAT, of course you will be appearing for it, but you need to provide the CAT registration number. So those of you already have GMAT, GRE scores, you can enter it. Those of you are going to apply with your CAT score, you need to provide the CAT registration number and the name registered for writing CAT in your application, right? So the section looks like this, where you have to write the name as per CAT form and the CAT appointment number. So this is nothing but the CAT ID that you have, the registration number. So that is what you have to enter, and then upload CAT test registration letter. Okay, so the registration letter means the application form that you can download from the dashboard. See, right now when you log into your CAT dashboard, you can only download the application form that you have submitted. So that is what you will have to upload here. Now then comes language proficiency. So as I mentioned in the beginning, that if you're somebody who didn't have English as the primary mode of instruction, primary language of instruction, then you can select IELTS or TOEFL. And then comes another section which is going to take a lot of time because of one particular reason. So there are three things that you'll have to upload. So the first one is resume, and this is what is going to consume time. Because they have mentioned that you will need to submit a resume as part of the process, we will need it in the format that you can download by clicking here. So whatever format that you have right now, you cannot upload the same thing as it is. That's not going to work. They have mentioned it because of this, the next point, which is also very important. Do not include any of your contact information, social media links, test scores or academic scores, grades, CGPA, marks, salary in the resume. Now, why they do this is because this is the resume that will be shared with the interviewers, right? So whoever is going to take your interview, when they see some of this information, they tend to get biased. And that is why they have mentioned that you're not supposed to include these things. So you have to download it. Once you start filling the form, you'll be able to download the format anyway. What I will do is, in the description of this video, I'll give you a link for that. Okay, so that you can download it beforehand and start making the resume. Okay, so give us some time to do that, but we'll put it in the description. Okay, so from there you can download it. All right, again, remaining things are pretty straightforward. You have to upload proof of income for self and college identity card. So this one is optional. I only got resume and proof of income for self as the mandatory things. But I'm guessing for students who don't have any work experience, they'll mandatorily ask you for the college ID. Then comes declaration, right? So again, I'm assuming everybody is going to this is a very straightforward thing. I mean, there isn't much to do. Have you ever been found in violation of academic integrity? Have you ever been the subject of disciplinary action? Have you been convicted in a criminal case and all of that? I hope you will select the information that is applicable to you and then just put a checkbox there, right? So just put a click there, you're done. And then comes the fine print. The fine print is very long, by the way. It's all the instructions that you can go through, but just go through it, right? So before you make the final submission, right, it's important that you go through all these terms and conditions. I'm clearly not going to show you everything in this video in the interest of time, but please go through it. Please go through each and every sentence that they have given and just ensure that you have adhered to the guidelines that they have mentioned. So then you will see something like this, that you're almost done, you're more or less completed your application. It will show you the percentage. As you can see, it is showing 95% completed for me, and the deadline is 15 December. So the only remaining thing is checking your application once. So you go through the entire application, it will give you a preview, and then you go to the final section where you make the payment. Now for payment, the application fee is 2,500. There's no reservation of any kind, so there's nothing like that. 2,500 for everybody, but there is a section for coupon code, right? So again, the application started just 2 days back. So we have reached out to ISP and we have in fact asked them if they can provide us any coupon codes for IMS students. Let's see what they say, and if at all we have more information on that, we will put that information in the description of the video. So coupon code must be something that they share so that you enter it and then you get some sort of a waiver It could be a couple of hundred of rupees, and that's the discount that you will get, right? So we are discussing with them. If there's any update that we get, we will put it in the description. So just make sure that whenever you're filling the form, just check the description section once for relevant links to begin your application, to download that resume format that I spoke about, and then for any coupon code if it works out. Okay. So that's about it. We have more or less covered everything that is required to fill the ISB application form. I hope this video has helped you and given you the entire overview. If there's anything that you want to know, please reach out to us through the comment section. Thank you so much for joining and wish all the best to all of you.